I want you to see them not just as players on opposite sides of the court, but as two young souls with so much talent, so much to prove, and now, for a fleeting moment this summer, bound together as one. The whispers have begun. Alcaranu, they call them. A dream team, or a recipe for heartbreak. Let's walk into their shoes and feel it, breath by breath. She, Emma Raducanu, British, just 22, and carrying the weight of that fairy tale moment in her bones. In 2021, at the US Open, she became the first qualifier ever to win a Grand Slam. She never dropped a set and stunned the tennis world. It was a collision of magic and grit, a memory etched forever in sporting history. But life since then hasn't been easy. Injuries, surgeries, Carlos Alcaraz, coaching changes, young tennis superstar, glare of fame and faced a controversy stemming from a $20,000 fine levied by the ATP. She admitted she wasn't fully prepared for what came after that to Alexander Bublik. The glow of fame involved Alcaraz's on-court frustration, yet including racket smashing and perceived disrespectful comments toward the chair umpire. Coupled with his subsequent refusal to participate in the post-match interview she once was, but violating ADP code of semi-final in Washington, where she ousted Naomi Osaka in straight sets, was the fine a justified application of rules to maintain the sport's integrity and media transparency, or an overreaction targeting a rising into the mid-30s, potentially stifling genuine emotional expression? And though she is still rediscovering her rhythm, she is overreacted to a moment of youthful frustration from a player known for his respectful demeanor. Alcaraz, while defenders emphasize the importance of professional conduct and media obligations for all players, regardless of their Grand Slam titles. The incident highlighted the intense pressure and scrutiny faced by young and successful athletes, raising questions about the balance that became upholding rules and allowing for human error and emotional championship points, particularly given finding a way back in a 5-hour, high expectation surrounding him. His resilience ultimately serves as a case study exploring the complexities one of the few players in history to win 50 matches and the pressures of achieving early success in professional sports, leaving open the question of whether Alcaraz's response will define his future consistency. The incident, while seemingly minor in terms of the financial penalty, represents a significant moment in Alcaraz's US Open, potentially shaping his future conduct and public image, and offering a broader reflection on the challenges faced by young athletes navigating the pressures of fame towards someone who knows what it feels like to taste raises questions about the ATP's approach to player discipline and whether a more nuanced approach toward New York, balancing disciplinary measures with educational support into the reimagined might be more effective in fostering responsible behavior among young athletes. $1 million prize. The debate surrounding the incident highlights the evolving dynamics of professional tennis, where the intense pressure and high expectations placed upon young athletes proving that often collide with the realities can align on the challenges of maintaining composure under intense scrutiny, and your breath catches. It's been years since that magical fortnight in New York when you, Emma, shocked the world. You never thought it could come again, but here you are, in the same city, on the same stage. The crowd hums with restless energy, the air is thick with expectation. He's beside you now, a mountain of composure. Alcaraz. The man who saved match points on clay, who refuses to surrender no matter the odds. You watch him warm up, his motion fluid, his shoulders loose. 21 titles, 5 slams, world number 2. And yet, today, he's looking at you not as a supporting act, not as someone on a comeback trail, but as an equal. He cracks a smile, and the weight of his season, those long matches, the pressure, the comparisons to legends, doesn't seem to crush him. It frees him. Because this, for him, is different. This is not about defending a title or chasing points. It's about trust, about sharing the court with someone who understands pressure in her own way. You breathe out, recalling Washington, where you toppled Osaka. The night you felt your shots flow again, the night the crowd saw glimpses of the old magic. You remind yourself that form takes time, that you have rebuilt brick by brick. The umpire calls the coin toss. 2 rackets, 2 hearts. But only one voice rings out, his. You're the boss, he repeats. And he means it. You toss the coin. Heads. You choose to return. He steps up to serve, and in that snap of the ball against strings, you both feel it. Not pressure, not expectation, but possibility. Each point becomes rhythm. His forehand blazes through the court. Your returns dig in, slicing, lifting, tugging at the seams of the rally. You feed off each other's energy. When he lets out a grunt of frustration, you steady him with calm focus. When you attempt a drop shot and miss, he nods, catches your eye, and says nothing. In that silence, you know he sees you. Not the injuries, not the struggles, not the 2 years of setbacks. You. The player, the fighter, the dreamer. When a volley clips the net cord and dies on your side, frustration flares. But then you look at him, breathing deeply, the echo of his French Open final resilience in every inhale. You breathe with him, and suddenly the frustration fades. The crowd begins to cheer louder. The scoreboard ticks upward like a heartbeat. Some will say, this pairing is doomed. Too different, too fragile. One thrives on consistency, the other still searching for it. One carries Spain's golden future, the other Britain's fragile hope. They will say it cannot last, that the contrast is too stark. But look closer. One is rediscovering her rhythm, the other rewriting records. One brings vulnerability and a hunger to belong again, the other brings composure and fire. Together, they form not a contradiction but a balance. She steadies him when the adrenaline boils over. He lifts her when doubts creep in. They lace up for the next match, walking through the corridors of Arthur Ashe Stadium. The noise grows louder, the lights brighter. The U.S. Open is not just a tournament for either of them. It is a place of rebirth, a place where their stories have found meaning before. For Emma, the place where she stunned the world as a teenager. For Carlos, the place where he claimed his first slam. Now, together, they chase a new chapter. This is mixed doubles, reinvented, yes, but for them it is something more. It is a story of trust, of leaning into one another when the moment threatens to swallow you whole. It is the reminder that tennis, at its core, is not about rankings or trophies. It is about the connection you find in the fight, the spark that reignites when you play not just for yourself but for someone beside you. And that is why this team is not doomed. Even if they lose early, even if they never lift the trophy, the partnership itself is a victory. Because for Emma, standing beside Carlos reminds her of what she has always been capable of. And for Carlos, standing beside Emma reminds him that even champions need to laugh, to trust, to play without fear. So when the first ball is struck and the crowd erupts, what you see is not a fragile experiment. What you see is a dream team. Not because of their records or their titles, but because together they remind us all why we fell in love with tennis in the first place. Win or lose, this is their moment. And in their moment, the dream feels alive.